So here are your three candidates, Rick, for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And sell us equally on all three, and then Debo and I will tell you which one is the right selection. So you have Bryce Young. Shocker. By the way, our buddy Pete Prisco told me the other day that I will never, ever say a bad word about Bryce Young, and I said that's absolutely correct. Number 2, Jahmyr Gibbs, the 12th overall pick, playing for the Detroit Lions, who will be debuting tonight on Thursday night. And then Jordan Addison, the wide receiver out of Pitt and USC, who was the first-round pick of the Minnesota Vikings. All right, the floor is yours, Rick.
Well, let's talk about Bryce Young first, okay? I do believe he has enough weapons around him. They went out and signed DJ Chark, Adam Thielen. They drafted Mingo. They got Hayden Hurst at tight end. You know, they added Miles Sanders from Philadelphia this offseason in the backfield to go along with Chuba Hubbard, who I think is one of the most underrated backs in the league. So I do believe they have enough weapons around them. My biggest concern, and especially coming out of the preseason, is are they going to be able to protect him? And if he's able to get some protection, he's going to put up numbers that will put him in the conversation definitely for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Let me ask you, are you encouraged by the fact that the offensive line seemed to improve over the preseason?
Well, no.
Okay, that's not good.
I know that last game was at Detroit Lions. Detroit was playing all their 2s and 3s.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
They're going to have to prove it, when the real games start this weekend. So, but I do have him up there as one of my favorites because of everything that I just laid out, especially with the weapons around them. But the biggest thing is, can they protect them?
Right.
My second candidate, Jahmyr Gibbs. Why do I say this? You're probably asking yourself, Ryan Wilson.
Why? Why is it this?
Well, I went back and looked at Ben Johnson, what he's done with that offense, how Jared Goff has played. They only have one offensive weapon, I think, on at receiver, and that is St. Brown, but I don't think they have any other great weapons around them. And then you look last year what Swift did. And Swift had 66 targets, 49 catches, 386 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And he had 110 rushing attempts, 575 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And he also missed 3 games. So those were with 3 games missed. Jahmyr Gibbs, what I saw during training camp, using him in the slot, using him out of the backfield, they have said up there, and Brad Holmes has come out and said that he is not a running back. He is an offensive weapon that we will use at multiple positions on the offensive side of the ball to get the ball in his hands. And he was the second, probably most explosive playmaker coming out in the draft last year behind Bijan Robinson. So he can get his touches in the passing game, and he's going to get his touches as a runner. And I think he's going to have a monster year. And he came out and even predicted that he's going to have a combined, I believe, 1,500 yards. If he does that, then he's going to be up for definitely one of the top candidates for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And by the way, he actually plays 2 of the 3 most popular positions, running back and wide receiver, that are targeted for this award. And if you're listening, I'll just tell you the odds real quick. Bryce Young is plus 450 to win the award. Second favorite to Bijan. Jahmyr Gibbs is plus 600. Third favorite. All right, next up, Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison. And this is why I am going to go with Jordan Addison as another favorite. Kirk Cousins threw the ball an astonishing 724 attempts last year. KJ Osborne had 93 targets. TJ Hawkinson, who they just paid, had 44 targets with the Lions in 8 games, but he had 99 targets after that with the Minnesota Vikings. JJ, he had 198 targets.
Good Lord. Can you imagine?
That's a lot of balls thrown your way.
Absolutely.
So when you look at KJ, JJ, and Hawkinson, they're going to get their share, but everybody's going to try to take JJ away. So they're going to be rolling the coverage to him, doing everything they can. The guy that Jordan Addison is replacing is Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen had 115 targets last year. So with everybody focused on taking the tight end out, taking JJ out, Dalvin Cook is not in the backfield anymore. So that part of their explosive pass game, because Dalvin Cook was one of the most explosive playmakers, especially when he got him the ball on screens and things like that in the passing game. I believe Jordan Addison is going to get more than his share of targets. And he's getting over 150 targets during the year. He has a chance to have a monster breakout year as well because of all the attention to the other offensive playmakers on the Minnesota Vikings.
Jordan Addison plus 2,200 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, 9th favorite to win. Jordan's gone from Kenny Pickett to Pitt to Caleb Williams at USC to now another gunslinger in Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. All right, Debo, he's made 3 great cases. Do you want to guess first or do you want me to guess first?
I will guess the last guy he mentioned. I don't think Rick cares about the odds or knows what they mean.
No,
so I think the pick is Jordan Addison. I do not think it is Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't think he would go 2 for 2 on Detroit Lions, which is a little hit to Defensive Rookie of the Year. So my pick is Addison for Rick.
That's funny. I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, he's talked up Bryce so much that he's probably sick of talking about Bryce. Jahmyr is a little too close to home too soon. We want to see how Jahmyr's going to be great, but I think he doesn't want to go all in on the Honolulu Blue just yet. He's wearing his little T-shirt under there and his muscle shirt. You can't see it yet. So I think he's going to go with Jordan Addison, who he quietly liked during the draft process and paints a good picture for why he can have success early, given that he's replacing Adam Thielen, who isn't quite as dynamic as Jordan, clearly much more savvy in terms of his NFL experience. But I also will go with Jordan Addison.
Do I get to say who I picked?
Yeah, of course. Got to figure this out.
I picked Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
And the reason I picked him, because if I bet $1, Debo, do I win $2,200?
Not quite, but I like that math. You would come back home with $23, Rick.
No, it's plus 2,200. $1 gets him 220, right?
No, that's just 22 to 1.
Oh, so, I can't do the math either.
It's 2,200 to 1.
No, it's plus 2,200. It's 22 to 1. You got to divide it by 100. My bad.
Oh, that doesn't say that. It just says plus 2,200. That means if I bet $1, I get $2,200.
Hey, Rick, do you think we should start a gambling podcast? Oh my gosh! Thank God for Debo. We think we would go out and buy all this stuff, thinking we're going to make all this money. Then Debo sends us a $20 bill. All right, thank you for your patience, Debo. All right, Debo and I are 1-0. That was a good one. Good sell job, Ricky. You'd be a great salesman. All right, let's go to my guys. These are going to be home runs. First up, Bijan Robinson. He is the favorite. No surprise there. Plus 275. And that means, Rick, if you bet $1, you win $2.75. I think I got the math right on that one. And we've talked about this throughout the summer. And I said this the other day, and you agreed with it. He's more important to Desmond Ridder than either Kyle Pitts or Drake London. And I think we still both agree with that. He flashed. I think he only played in the second preseason game in Sweet Mercy Alive. He was really good in that. They played the Bengals, and his first touch was electric. I expect a lot more touches to be electric. He showed unbelievable ability in the pass game. He can block if you need him to block. So he is going to be a huge asset, and is going to help cover up any sort of second year figuring things out with Des Ridder. Maybe Des Ridder comes out slinging. If he struggles a little bit, the great news is you can lean on Bijan. So he's one of the players on my list. First running back drafted, 8th overall. Jahmyr Gibbs went 12th. Next up, now we're getting a little longer odds here. Plus 800. Anthony Richardson, quarterback, Indianapolis Colts. Now, here's the thing. Only 13 starts at Florida. We like to compare him to Jalen Hurts because Shane Steichen is now the coach in Indianapolis. He was Jalen's offensive coordinator in Philadelphia. Jalen had 42 starts at Alabama and Oklahoma. So clearly a lot more experience coming out. But Anthony's a better athlete and a better arm. He just has to put it all together. Saw glimpses of it during the preseason. We talked about that on previous podcasts. Now, Jonathan Taylor has to be there. It can't be a situation where Anthony's asked to do everything from Jump Street. Michael Pittman needs to continue to play well. Alec Pierce needs to play better. The offensive line is going to have some concerns, but I think Anthony Richardson hides those concerns because he is so incredibly athletic. We saw flashes of his ability to get to the edge in the running game and just truck defensive backs on the edge. And I think he can do that. You know what, I'm taking 15 hits a game, but I think he can do that in select moments, much like we saw Jalen Hurts do with Philadelphia. He can push the ball downfield as good as anyone. He has a hose. Just got to
just find out where it's going.
You got to manage, right? You got to manage the decisions is what I was trying to get to with Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen has to do a good job of managing the decisions that Anthony's being put to, the decisions being put forward to Anthony. So
he's got a fire hose. You just don't know that fire hose is like
right.
Water going everywhere.
Our baseball coach used to say, a gun without a sight stays on the rack. So no matter how good your arm is, you gotta hit what you're trying to hit there. So he's number 2. Number 3, Tyjae Spears going deep down the rabbit hole, plus 5,000. So he's 22nd, the 22nd favorite to win. So those are steep odds there. But I have him on here because one of the concerns coming out, we talked about this, Rick, wasn't his ability to make plays, because we saw in the final game for Tulane, they absolutely destroyed USC, and he had a big part in that. There were some concerns that he might have a knee that was lingering. Now, he looked to be A-OK 100% in the preseason. He flashed. The Bears game sticks out to me as a preseason game in which I was like, okay, he looks to be back to form. And if he stays healthy, I think he could be a nice complement, obviously, to Derrick Henry. And you talked about Jahmyr Gibbs' versatility. Tyjae isn't quite that versatile, and Tyjae probably won't see the ball quite as often because of Derrick Henry. But if Derrick Henry needs to take a break, if God forbid he gets banged up and has to miss some time, Tyjae can step right in to that role. He's the number 2 on the depth chart. The only other running back on the roster right now is Julius Chestnut after Derrick Henry. So this team is not necessarily a home run hitting team with Ryan Tannehill and no longer having A.J. Brown. They do have Dre Hopkins. We'll see how that works out, but he's obviously older now. I think he's in his 30s. So Tyjae Spears is my long shot candidate, but who I think has an opportunity when he gets on the field to be special. So knowing that, Rick, you and Debo can sort out who goes first, and then I'll let you know if you're right.
Go ahead, Debo, because I don't understand this logic whatsoever.
Which one? I'll explain.
Every single one of them except Bijan Robinson to me.
Because I didn't want to go chalk. I didn't want to just pick the obvious ones.
Yeah, well, you did. You picked Bijan Robinson, which is definitely the obvious one because he's going to have. And look at who his head coach is, Arthur Smith. What did Arthur Smith do? Utilize the running back named King Henry, by the way.
Look how mad he is, Debo.
Anthony Richardson doesn't have.
He has Shane Steichen.
Yeah, okay. And he can't hit a bull in the arse with a bass fiddle.
I think you say ass. Hey, I thought he looked okay in preseason. You're.
And then Spears, are you kidding me?
I hope he wins just to spite you.
Somehow you managed to piss Rick off with a very innocent segment.
He's so bad. I think he's mad because he doesn't know which way I'm going to go. I think that's why.
I think
if you don't go Bijan Robinson, then don't do this podcast. It's ridiculous that you pick anyone other than Bijan Robinson.
All right, well, let's see what Debo has to say.
Richardson out. I am going to argue with you for the rest of the shows. Here to Kingdom Come.
All right, well, buckle up.
Ryan's going to get a little bit down the list when we get to Defensive Player of the Year, so I do think he goes chalk here and picks Bijan.
Yeah, that's a low-hanging fruit. My God, take your guy and move on.
Oh, my gosh. So, Debo, why do you think Rick is so angry?
I ask myself that every day.
Because I didn't sign Troy Aikman, damn it.
All right, so we got Jordan Addison. By the way, Jordan Addison is plus 2,200. He's not the odds aren't. I mean, they're not as good as Anthony Richardson's odds. So it's not like you went chalk.
No, I didn't go with the low hanging fruit. Go with the low hanging fruit.
I was considering Anthony Richardson, but sweet mercy alive, you hate him so much, I can't do it. All right, that's the offensive side of the ball. Jordan Addison. Oh, Bijan. I'll take Bijan.
Yeah, of course you did.
Well, he's going to win it. So that's why I picked him.
All right. Okay, Debo, for a dollar bet, if whoever gets, however they come out ranked, wins $1. So if
whoever ranks highest in the voting?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And I'll even give him 2-to-1 odds.
No, I got 2,200 to 1. So if I give you $1, you owe me 2,200.
Oh, okay. All right, make a note of that, Debo. Oh, Rick, $2,200. All right, so dollar bet, Bijan or Jordan, whoever ranks highest on the final list, I would imagine one of those guys might be number one. We'll find out.